What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Celtics Collective. I'm Maddie Kroll, and I'm here with Sean Devney and Adam Taylor. What is up, guys?
What's good?
Hey, Maddie.
Did you guys miss me?
No,
No, not even a little bit.
No,
I
not
didn't
even in
think
the
so.
slightest.
We were concerned about you because you were under whatever it was, several inches of water or a foot or maybe several feet. I don't know.
It was not a good time. Just so the listeners know, I was out. We did an interview last week that I had to miss, and then we had an emergency episode that I had to miss, all because apparently there's a pipe that carries the water from the dishwasher to drain out. Mine busted, and so I had to move out for a couple days. I lived the hotel life, and now I'm back. Apparently unmissed.
There was an emergency episode, and it didn't have anything to do with the emergency in your apartment. There was a even bigger emergency going on.
I kept waiting for my shout out of like, hope everything's fine. But no, I got a nice little bit at the beginning. Adam,
You're welcome.
thank you. I appreciate that.
I had to feign interest.
But there was a lot going on. And I think we were all kind of overwhelmed with that news. So I'm glad that you guys were able to chat. Jack stepped in. He's phenomenal.
Jack's awesome.
Yeah,
Super
we love
awesome.
Jack. We love Jack. Thank you, Jack.
Sean, you went to a carnival this weekend. Is that right?
I did. Yep. I won a giant stuffed something or other. I don't know. It's an androgynous animal of some sort that my daughter loves, and she's 5, so that's all that matters. I threw a ring around the neck of a duck and a plastic duck, a rubber duck, to be clear. And that won me the affection of my daughter, probably for the next 2 weeks.
Honestly, though, that's such a good core memory she's going to have for the rest of her life. I think that's awesome.
I'm hoping. Here's crossing my fingers.
Any new trinkets for you, Adam?
No, I bought T-shirts this week instead because TJ Maxx was doing Vans T-shirts that were like £10. So like 10
Vans?
Yeah, Vans as in the brand.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
Usually they're like 35 to 40 and they were like 10 each. So I was like, yeah, I need to buy everything they have because I could make money on the resale market.
Oh, you're gonna resell them?
No, but that was the excuse I gave myself at the time. Then I bought them and I was like, I look hardly pretty, so I'm just gonna put them in my closet and then I'll put one on today.
Oh, you have one on right now?
Of course, it's Vans.
Let's see it.
So it's literally just a little bit. It's all at the back. I'd have to stand up and turn around.
Yeah, we don't need to see that.
Nah, you don't. But so the one my entire household we're ridiculously brand loyal. So Vans is it's the sneakers we all wear, it's the backpacks we all use. So it's like, hey, if there's a sale on, we're brand loyal, we need to go. But that meant that there was no new Pokemon pops this week, which means I'm sad.
We'll look forward to them next week, though.
I have Pikachu and Mewtwo. I don't think I need any more. Oh, I need Bulbasaur and Charizard actually.
Bulbasaur is the best.
He was the starter Pokemon on all the original Pokemons for me.
That's essential.
That's a core memory if you want to speak about core memory.
Yeah, I should clearly have my 5-year-old on this podcast with us.
She'd fit in, actually.
She'd have more idea what you guys are talking about than I would.
So my 11-year-old daughter told me today that she was more mature than me. So I think we could definitely fair. Yeah, it's definitely fair.
What was your response though? Was it out of anger or was she just annoyed with you?
I was just winding her up. I was just giving her some banter, and then she was like, "Dad, you're so mature. I'm so much more mature than you." I was like, "Great, you can start going to work and paying the bills, and I'll go back to school." And that changed the tone really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. She bowed out on that one.
Yeah.
Well, while I was gone, you guys had an awesome interview with Kenny Anderson, who played 15 years in the NBA, was with the Celtics for 5 seasons. He was there during the Antoine Walker era, Paul Pierce era, before being traded for Chauncey. He's currently the head coach of Fisk University men's basketball team. I want to know, was there anything that really stood out to you guys in that interview, or what was your favorite part before we get into it?
So my personal favorite part was not speaking for the first half because I had nothing to say about the history. So I just let Sean run with it. And he seemed far too comfortable doing it one-to-one.
But
he did
I
a great
kept
job.
looking at Adam, and saying, Adam, if you got a question, please, man, jump in, because I got a million of them. I love talking to like old players. As an older guy myself, I've been doing this for a long time, so I was so thrilled to be talking to him. It was so nice. I was at the game in 2002 in the playoffs, Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals, where the Celtics came back. They outscored the Nets 41-16 in the fourth quarter. They came back from a 26-point deficit in that game, set an NBA record to win. And really give themselves, I think a lot of us thought they were going to go on to the NBA Finals that year. So it was nice to talk to him about that, talk about the whole Paul Pierce, Antoine Walker era. That was a lot of fun for me.
So I was in ninth grade when that happened, and broadband was just becoming a thing. League Pass didn't exist. I didn't even know what was going on in the world of basketball at that time. So I can't speak. I have to be quiet.
So you guys are telling me the key to the successful interview was Sean fangirling and Adam not talking.
Pretty much, right?
I'd say it was fanboying, at least. Come on.
Fanboying, excuse me. I love it. I can't wait to hear it. All right, guys, let's jump into it. Don't forget at the end of this, subscribe, give us a review, rate us, let us know how much you missed me and how much you loved Adam being quiet for a little bit. Follow us anywhere where you get your podcasts. Enjoy the interview, guys.
All right, well, we're very lucky today to have NBA legend Kenny Anderson with us, former Celtic, former Net, former Portland Trailblazers, Charlotte Hornets. Welcome, Kenny. How are you?
I'm doing well. What's going on, guys?
Good to see you. Good to see you. You're in Tennessee, correct?
Yeah, I'm coaching here at Fisk University, Nashville, Tennessee. Been here for 4 years, but 3 years coaching because of the COVID. But
right.
A great situation to be in. And my daughter's a senior here. It's a great school, man. Great school, but we're trying to build an athletic program up.
How's that been going?
Up and down, but you got to love it. You got to love it. And I love being in the situation I'm in. I love my team and everything. So it's just a blessing.
Well, welcome and thanks for joining us. We are a Celtics podcast here, so I wanted to start there for you. If you go back to, I want to take you back to February 1998 when you get traded to Boston. You actually weren't traded to Boston first, right? You were traded first to Toronto.
Yeah, I was traded to Toronto, but people didn't really realize it. But it was totally because of tax purposes. I didn't want to go to Toronto at the time, so I just said I wouldn't go. It was only 20-something games left. I was going to take the hit, the money, but I just didn't want to go to Toronto because of the tax purposes back then. That was it. But people didn't really realize.
There was a whole week there before you didn't know what was going to happen in terms of whether Toronto was going to turn around and trade you, or you were just going to sit out.
Yeah, I was going to sit out. I was planning on sitting out, and Rick Pitino, was at the Celtics, and they brought me there. It was so much love. I love playing for the Celtics. I love playing for Rick Pitino and the staff. It was awesome for me, and I'm glad it happened the way it happened.
I know one of your heroes was a great Celtics, Tiny Archibald. What was it like to be able to go and play and kind of follow in his footsteps?
Yes, that's one of the reasons. Being from New York, he's from New York, from the Bronx, New York. He's one of the best point guards ever to play the game, and he won the championship with the Celtics. So it was like a great thing to be, and then playing with the Celtics, playing with his number. It was just a great feeling.
Adam, you got a question, man?
I mean, not for the old school Celtic. I want to be quite honest, man. Like, there weren't no coverage here until like 2011. So old school stuff, like I think for me, it's more just like, you had Paul Pierce come in as a rookie while you were there. What were your impressions of him? Like when he came in, were you like, oh, this dude's going to be elite? Or
Yeah. I was at the draft. Who did? was there at the draft, and we got him at number 10. So it was a great day in Celtic history. But he didn't like it because he fell all the way to 10. You know, but it was one of those things. They got a great player, but not only, you know, a great person. You know, I really enjoyed playing with Paul Pierce, Antoine Walker, with that whole staff, Eric Williams, Tony Batiste. They were just great, man. Great teammates.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that. I remember he was mad when he got drafted 10th because he thought it was going to go much and probably should have gone much higher when you go back and look at that draft.
Yeah, he probably should have, but you know, the Boston people lucky.
Yeah, that was
Paul Pierce. So thank God you got Paul Pierce.
That was lucky. Yeah. And you were playing for Rick Pitino. Was that something that attracted you to make you want to go to Boston?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, being from New York and understanding his growth as a New York Knicks coach, Providence, just his whole demeanor as the head coach was on point. You know, he's a great coach, and he was a great man for me. You know, to be coming to Boston and playing under a great coach like him, it was just awesome.
Yeah, what were sort of your impressions of him, you know, as a coach? You know, he obviously was trying to make that transition, and what were your impressions of him during that time?
Oh, he first of all, details. He was a stickler for details. Coaching, he was a great coach, no doubt about it. You know, I watched him. You know, I grew up watching him coach, and he was just an awesome coach. And Jim O'Brien was assistant coach. Their whole staff was meant a lot to me. It was great. Not only playing for the Boston Celtics, but being coached by great men.
It didn't work out in the end for Coach Pitino in the NBA and in Boston. Why do you think that was?
I think the game has changed. The game was changing around him. He wanted to press. And you can't really do that for 82 games. And with the style of play and the clever of players that we're going to play against, they was eating it up, you know, and just pressing. You just, you know, you can't play like that. And, you know, you had to see that for yourself. So I think he saw it. And but I think the number one thing that hurt him, he thought that year when he took the job, he was going to get Tim Duncan in the draft, and he didn't. And he kind of threw it all away somewhat.
Instead of Tim Duncan, you got Chauncey Billups and I think Ron Mueller.
Yeah. And that's what hurt. That's what hurt them, you know, in the draft. I know that's what he was going for, and he didn't get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I guess you can ask, you know, 18, 19-year-olds.
I don't know what happened there.
As professionals to do that, you know, 48 minutes over 82 games.
Yeah, that's a really tough job to do. 82 games, night in and night out playing. Got to get your rest. You got to practice. So it's kind of tough. He had a young team, you know, by me coming on there, I was a little older. I didn't want to press up. I didn't want to press like that. Night in and night out. It was tough. But, you know, it was a fun style of play, but I don't think it would win no games. And that was the difference.
You know, how about Antoine Walker? You know, I remember in Boston, he would take a lot of criticism for the way he would jack up threes. In today's game, you know, they probably want him to take more. You know, was this a guy who was just ahead of his time or what?
He was at his time. He was a great point. He was a great point forward. So, but when I went there, I was like, man, you can't be dribbling the ball up. Give me the ball. Let me run the team. So, but he was a great shooter. At times, streaky shooter, but just, you know, he had ball handling skills. He was big. You know, he can get into in the lane. He can help up. He was a great player, and a funny teammate, man. One of the funniest teammates I ever played with. Just a great human being.
Yeah, you know, I think one of the highlights for me watching that team was, of course, 2002. You guys are in the Eastern Conference Finals. Game 3, you're down 26. You come back and win. What do you remember about that game?
I don't remember too much of it, but it was just one of those great comebacks in the NBA, and we just fought. I think going in the huddle, one of the huddles, Antoine Walker got at the whole team, screamed and everything, and just everybody just focused, and we just started playing a little harder. I would say my mindset was just, even if we lose this game, let's play hard. Let's move on to the next game. That's what I was thinking. But they let us back in the game, in the flow, and then that was it. And then when it was at home, it was just crazy. At the Fleet Center, the Garden, it was just a great. I'm so happy to be involved in that comeback. That's going to be there for many years.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
And I hit the last shot.
That's right.
Shot. I ran it down. I think Terry Kittles tried to block it, but I knew it was a goaltender when I put it up, because I put it up quicker than him. Boom, but it was goaltender.
Yeah.
So we took the lead. So it's just a great memory for me to have in my basketball catalog.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, Paul Pierce couldn't miss in that fourth quarter, but you couldn't either. I mean, you were right there with him in terms of putting up points in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, definitely around my average. When I played with those guys, I was the third guy getting all the shots, and I got about 10 shots. So Paul Pierce, Antoine Walker shot all the balls, and then I was third. So I got them. Yeah.
That's a different role for you, right? You weren't used to that.
No, I was used to it, playing with them for some years, running the team. I loved it. Running the team, because I was transforming into the Kenny Anderson, the older Kenny Anderson. So right. I had to just play good defense, run the team, get the guys the ball that could shoot, and get in shape, and that's what I did.
That team made it to the conference finals? You guys gave the Nets a very good fight. Probably maybe could have won that series. Sure. Do you think that's about as far as that team could have gone, or do you think that team had something else in it?
I don't. I thought we should have beat them, but we lost. I thought we were going to win the East. That's what I thought. I thought we were going to win the East. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do, but we lost. So it was very tough, but. They had Jason Kidd, Kenya Martin, Jefferson. They had a great team, but we had a good team also. So it just wasn't in our calling.
Yeah, and then of course a couple months after that, they trade you to Seattle.
Yeah.
Did that come as a shock to you?
It was shock. It was really a shock to me. But then I understood, me being traded, why I was being traded. It was just the money. Paul Gaskin Jr. ran the team. He really didn't know basketball. And he just really the money. And I was on the highest, one of the highest marketing, but I was getting paid. So they just threw me in there, and I had to get traded. That was tough on me, because we had just came from the Eastern Conference Championship, and I know next year was going to be different, and that's what I was thinking I was going to work forward for. I was going to work for it, But I was traded to Seattle. Things happen for reasons, man. Things happen. So ain't nothing I could say or do. I just had to move on.
Yeah, you've always kept your fanship of the Celtics. You've always kept Boston kind of near and dear to your heart, it seems.
Yeah, always. The New Jersey Nets, Boston Celtics, Portland Trailblazers. That's what my fan bases be, and I love them. And I'm not going to change. So, I'm a Celtic. I'll be a Celtic for life. Be a Nets for life. Portland Trailblazers for life, because that's like 13 years of my life right there, playing in the NBA on some very good teams. We just couldn't get over the hump. I never won a championship. I wanted to win a championship, and the only thing I didn't do in basketball was win a championship and be on an Olympic team. 2 things. That's it. Everything else I've accomplished. High school, college, pro. So, nothing. Basketball has been easy. Life's been difficult.
That's a good way to put it. Did you think you'd be on that 96 Olympic team?
No, because of Stockton, Isaiah, they were great players. So, but you never know,
It was in Atlanta too. That would have been perfect.
It was in Atlanta. It would have been a great situation for me. But nobody knows this, but people forget. I was on the last team that lost, and that's why they came with the pros. We lost to Drazen Petrovic, Tony Kukoc over in the Goodwill Games going into the Olympics. So I understood.
Yeah. You kind of look at your career, and you played with some really interesting characters over the course of your career. One of them that stands out to me was Sam Bowie, who I think most people who remember his name remember him as the guy who got drafted ahead of Michael Jordan and assume he was this kind of bust who just could never play. But he had a pretty good year with you guys when you played with him. What was he like as a player?
Oh, he was a great player. He could shoot the ball extremely good, and was a great passer, big man. Sam Bowie was great playing for the Nets with the Nets that year. He was just an awesome, and he's an awesome human being. He called me last week. He lives in West Palm. He's doing extremely well, man. He's doing extremely well. So, good. Things happen. With his injury. When he was one of the best in college, and he broke his leg, and he never could really get back to normal form. But that year when he played with us with the Nets, he played extremely well. Yeah.
I think people forget that he had a couple of years there where you could say, all right, this is what this guy would have been if he stayed healthy. Now, speaking of Michael Jordan, there's a clip that I saw of him getting a pretty good dunk on you. I don't know if you remember that, but it's on his highlight reel.
Why he put that on there?
I don't know, but when I watch it, he definitely did the clear out with the left arm. He got away with that a lot.
I'm gonna move out the way though. Oh, with Charlotte, I was with Charlotte when he done. We beat them in the United Center. We beat them. Yes.
Yeah. What are some of your memories or the highlights, things that you remember about playing against Michael Jordan?
I don't remember a lot of them, but he was the greatest. He's the greatest. I played against. I played against the great Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and I gotta go with Jordan. Is the best. Is the GOAT. And then I mixed up, with Kobe and LeBron. They like neck and neck to me. But those are great. And I'm fortunate. I played against three of the best players that ever played the game of basketball. I competed against them. So it's been a blessing. Basketball has been easy for me. But
who spoke the most trash?
Who talks the most trash?
Yeah.
Jordan is really quiet. All three of them guys are real quiet. I know them don't talk too much trash.
How about Gary Payton?
He talks a lot of trash. He talks a lot of trash, man. Gary was a great point guard. In my era, I played against some great point guards: Gary Payton, Tim Hardaway, Rod Strickland, Mark Jackson, Kenny Smith. It was some great point guards, man.
You also played at the end of his career with one of the great Celtics of all time, and that's Robert Parrish. Playing with him in Charlotte. He had a reputation as being kind of a quiet, sort of tough guy. What was your experience with him?
Yeah, he was a tough guy, real quiet, but it was just an honor to play with somebody like that. Chief, and back in the Celtics days with Larry Bird, McHale, one of the best front lines that ever played in the NBA. I was an honor. When I first got there, I was shocked. I was like in awe, playing with an older vet like that. And he's a good man. Great man.
How about those teams that you guys had sort of early in the 90s with you and Coleman and of course Drazen Petrovic, and we all know how good he could have been. There was a lot of potential in those teams.
Oh yeah, definitely. We had a great team, but we was playing against Chicago when they had their good team. Cleveland had Mark Price, Brad Doherty. Knicks had Oakley, Patrick Ewing. Those guys. Orlando had Penny Hardaway, Shaq. The East was tough, but we had a very good team.
Yeah, Drazen Petrovic, just for people who don't know, how good could he have been if he had been able to continue his career?
Oh, he would have been one of the best. He's one of the best shooters ever. He worked extremely hard on his game. Overseas, he played with Croatia. He was one of the best, and he wanted to be that guy over here because he played with Portland and he didn't. They Clyde Drexler, Terry Porter. He couldn't see the court, so they traded him for the Nets, and he blossomed. Played extremely well. He worked hard. He's a great teammate. Great teammate.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I had to work ethic when I went to the league, but it changed a little bit. But then when I got with the Nets and I saw how hard he worked, he'd be an hour or two before practice coming in work. I started getting that in my game, coming, working out on my game. He just was a great young man, and we lost a great one.
Yeah. Adam, you got a question?
I want to move on to your coaching at Fisk, if that's okay, because I can get involved in the conversation here. So how did that? First of all, how did that come about? Was it something you were looking to do, or did somebody reach out with an offer?
Yeah, the ex president of the school hired me. It was a great look for me. It was I went to the school, I visited the school, and I saw it needed a lot of work, and it still needs some work, but I wanted to come for the young men that I'll be coaching to give off what I've learned in the game of basketball and the game of life. And that's what I'm capable of doing now. And I love it here. And I see it's about growth. And it's, believe me, it's making me grow as a human being, by me coaching these young men and teaching them and telling them, hey, the real. There's no BS with me, And this is where, it's about hard work on the court and in the classroom to better yourself as a human being in life.
How many of them have tried to play you one-on-one?
They all try to play me. I don't play no more one-on-ones. I shoot them out. We play horse. I shoot them out.
No one's beat you yet, no?
No, not yet.
How about if they dunk though? Can you dunk?
No, I can't dunk. If they, no, I know there's no dunking. It's a 3 dribble rule if we play one-on-one. 3 dribbles you can get. 3 dribbles, that's it. You get 3 dribbles, that's all. That's the game.
I remember seeing on Twitter, I think it was maybe last year, we were talking about trying to dunk that you were going to attempt it again. So it didn't go so well?
Nah, I can't get up like I used to.
Fair enough.
I only got like 3 dunks in my life.
Yeah.
In high school, college, and pro. And I played a long time. I only got like 3. I don't care about dunking. I like pro.
Do you think not dunking prolongs your career? Because they say that the impact on the knees.
Oh yeah, definitely. The impact on the knees, I was blessed to play 14 years in the NBA with no knee injuries. I had no knee injuries, so thank God.
That's a case study right there.
Yeah, right.
That's a case study. So another thing I wanted to ask you about, and this isn't to do with being at Fisk, but you were part of the NYC Point Guards documentary. How much fun was that being, like filming and getting to relive some stuff?
Yeah, that was awesome. I just, thank Kevin Durant's people and the production company that he worked with that brought that out, because New York needed to be touched. A lot of point guards that came out of New York should get that get their flowers while they're living. And you know, I've gotten flowers my whole life, but some of the other guys, you know, need to get their flowers. And I'm kind of sad that there's so many New Yorkers that could have been on point guard, so many, but they couldn't. It's a documentary. It's an hour and a half. You can't put that many players on it. But you know, I'm from New York, and it's tough, man. Tough. That's where I learned the game, man. On the playgrounds, the streets of New York City is tough, man. Playing, and if you could, you would have to do part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, the documentary, you know, with point guards. So, but they highlighted the best out of New York City. Kenny Smith, Mark Jackson, Rod Strickland, Pearl Washington, and myself. That's the best, man. So, but everybody else always come to me, oh, what? We saw it, but this guy should have been, Rayford Austin was in it. All the young guys was in it, you know, coming up. So it's a blessing, man. I'm glad that they came out with point guard.
Yeah. You were basically a star at like 14, 15 years old at Malloy. Like everybody, you know, this was before you had all the recruiting stuff, but people knew you. Yeah, how did you handle that? Was that tough to handle?
It was easy because my coach, Jack Curran, I love him to death, passed away. He just said it, you know. He handled me in a great way. Then I had my mentor, Vincent Smith. They all handled me, Pierre Turner. They handled me in a different way. I just wanted to listen, man. I wanted to make it out of there. I wanted to make it out of my hood to take care of my mother. So I had to listen. And Jack Curry did a hell of a job with me, man. And let me, you know, sit the first quarter. As a freshman, I played on the varsity team, but I sat the first quarter. I only played 3 quarters. And now I look back, it was the best thing that could have happened for me.
Kind of take some pressure off, let you watch the game, kind of get the feel for it before you go in there.
And we had a reunion with my seniors about 2-3 weeks ago. I went back to New York. I saw my high school buddies, high school teammates. It was just awesome, man. It was an awesome feeling to be back talking to those guys.
Yeah. So do you think sorry, Adam, but just to follow up on that, do you think like high school kids should be able to go to the NBA now, or would you rather see them having to go to play?
I say that if you play, if you capable of playing on the league, you're great. Go. But if there's any 50, if you're not sure, stay and work on your game and everything like that, you know. But I think if you're an exceptional talent and you can go. But if that's that gray area, just work hard and stay in school until you can get there.
14, 15 years old, pretty much a star everywhere you go. You said you're playing a lot of ball on the streets in New York. Did you find that the more you were becoming like well recognized, well known, were you getting treated any differently while playing on the park courts like that, wherever you were?
Yeah, I was getting treated a little differently, but it was a different about getting treated differently. You know, my mother and us I was being protected. You know, that's what I was being protected. Different neighborhoods, I couldn't be in certain areas, this, that, and the other, because people in my neighborhood was doing wrong, but they was also doing good. You know, that's just how life works. You know, they was looking out for me, and they did a great job looking out for me.
Yeah. We've got some questions about sort of today's game before we wrap up, but I did want to bring up one other thing, and that's if anybody hasn't seen the documentary about you, the Mr. Chibbs movie, I'd highly recommend it. And I mean, that had to be a tough thing for you to do, to be as honest as you were in that movie. And there's a great line from it where you say, you know, it's difficult trying to figure out what it is to be selfless when you've been selfish your whole life. I just wonder, you know, 5 years later, do you know how to be selfless now? Is that something that
I'm selfless now, and I had to figure it out. I'm selfish now. I'm helping these young men, you know, in life. Not only helping them, help my family. I want to be more involved in my kids' lives. I'm doing more things now, and it means a lot to me to reach out first of all my kids. I have 8 kids. I'm trying to reach out to them and get in their lives. I'm in 5 of their lives, 3 of their lives. I'm trying to get back. So, I'm trying to live according to what the man upstairs, how he raised me, what he planned, what my plans are for the rest of my life, and that's the gift.
Doing that movie sort of was that cathartic for you to kind of get all that out there and just be that honest, or is it something you look back and, geez, maybe I shouldn't have done that?
I don't care. It's now. I would have if my mother was still living. I don't know if I would have been real honest. I don't know about that, but I had to let loose and whatever. Sometimes you have to be truthful so you can help others, and that's what it's all about. You lie. What is that doing? So I'm real truthful to who I am and how I came about to play the game of basketball that I love and reach out to millions, zillions of people that respect me on the basketball court, but they haven't gotten to know me, the type of person I am, and it's real. I'm real. There's a lot of fake people out there, but I'm not doing that. I'm just not going to do that. I'm just not going to live my life like that.
Heading over to the, that's powerful, man. I feel bad even trying to segue into normal NBA at this point. So let's moving on to normal NBA, like modern NBA, I should say. Your game, how would you see it translating now? Like, what team could you kind of pinpoint yourself being on, or where do you think you'd fall in that hierarchy of point guards?
Oh.
The game has changed. You got it?
Yeah.
The game has changed. The game has changed. So it's a lot easier for point guards with the dribble. I can penetrate. I can shoot. The lanes is wide open. There's no more big man sitting there in the lane wanting the ball. So, that's what I would love to play with Golden State. Golden State, the way they open the court up and let Steph Curry just go crazy, set picks for all that. It's just and they play a pretty game. They pass the ball, they move, and that's what the game of basketball is about now.
Yeah, and do you like watching today's NBA? I mean, would you like to see a little more defense? Would you like to see a little more physicality allowed?
Yeah, a little bit, but I watch it a little bit. I watch more college games now because I'm coaching, but I watch the NBA games. The teams that I root for the Boston Celtics, the Brooklyn Nets, and Portland Trailblazers. Those are 3 teams I give a lot of love to. I watch them, and I hope to see them do well every year. Right now I'm excited because they got Boston winning it all this year. So that I'm excited for the fan. It's like I'm a fan. I'm excited to bring the 19th banner, to Boston, and that would be great.
How do you deal with so last season you got Brooklyn playing Boston in the first round of the playoffs. How do you deal with this?
I don't watch it. I don't watch. I watch the score. I see the score. I never watched that series. You can ask my wife. I don't watch that series. I didn't watch it, and I never will. When my 3 teams play against each other, I watch Portland when they come play. I don't watch it. The Celtics play against play against the Nets. I don't watch. I just look at scores when they play.
That's a good way to avoid it.
Yeah.
That's a good way.
But you watched the Celtics in the finals last year. What did you think they could have maybe done differently to win that series?
I thought they was going to win it. I was at Game 6 when we lost in Boston. God, that was really sickening because I thought they was going to bring it back to play at 7, but we lost, and it was just a tough loss. But Golden State, they played extremely well. Steph Curry was on fire, moving. They whole team, they get it. They get it. So, I think next year we got it. It's going to be tough because the lead, that's what the lead is. Everybody's tougher now. Everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, talking of toughness, you got Marcus Smart, one of the best defensive guards in the league. Yeah. We're talking about physicality not being in the NBA. Yeah. He brings it right back, right? He's a bit of a throwback type guy. Yeah. Would you have liked to have played with him?
I would have loved to play with him, but I just think they asked him to do too much at that one. So now we got Malcolm Brogdon coming in. I think that's going to be a hell of a duo playing with each other. I think that's going to be a great backcourt to help him. I think we're loaded. We're loaded. Our team is going to be good, but the East is good. Brooklyn Nets with Kevin Durant, Kyrie, Philly is good. There's a lot of teams. A lot of teams going to be good in the East.
Speaking of the Nets, obviously it was a strange summer for them this past year. Were you disappointed in Kevin Durant, the way he handled that trade demand?
Nah, it's just life. Trade demands is life. I played in the league many years, so I understand it. It's life. But I'm just so happy and thank God that he stayed. He stayed in Brooklyn, giving another fight. And I want, Kyrie Irving, he still stayed there for another year. Just give it one more go around. Give it one more go. And he got one more year on his contract. So, they'll see what happens. But, they're tough. When you got two talented players like them, and then you got all of the role players you can add up, anything can happen. That's a tough duo.
If you had to make a choice out of who was going to win it all next season, who would you choose?
Boston Celtics.
Hey, all right.
Hey.
Going with the Celtics.
You think they get a rematch against the Warriors?
Yeah, that's what I think will happen. That's what I think is going to happen. Yeah.
Great. Well, Kenny Anderson, thank you so much for joining us here on the Celtics Collective. It's been a pleasure having a chat with you, and good luck at Fisk. And it's just been so much fun to watch you sort of in retirement with both of the documentaries that have come out, and now what you're doing at Fisk. So good luck to you, and thanks for being here.
Appreciate it.
Hey, Adam, where's my Kenny Anderson jersey? Tatum and Brown, NBA. Where's my jersey at?
I need to get me one. If I get it, will you sign it?
Yeah, definitely. I got you.